The Paducah Chamber of Commerce monthly breakfast is designed to keep people well informed on all things Kentucky and features nationally recognized motivational speakers. This month's speaker was Bill Goodman, the host of Kentucky Tonight on KET. As a member of the Kentucky Journalism Hall of Fame, Goodman is known for his compelling conversations with the state's political leaders.
I taught a course at Center College in Danville, their center term, and I wrote the course and the syllabus for 23 students titled Politics and Journalism in the Age of Social Media. And what I wanted to do is talk to the kids about journalism that I was brought on, traditional journalism of reporting who, what, where, when, and how that still resonates today. We still haven't lost our basic foundation of what is good reporting. But as we all know, journalism, along with everything else, has changed immensely. So I tried to take them in a very compressed period of time from coverage of journalism 30 or 40 years ago to the journalism of today.
Social media has changed the face of journalism and completely evolved the way news is delivered. Goodman focused his speech on explaining how traditional journalism values can still be found in the way news is reported today.
Well, it's easy to blame it on news consultants. A long time ago, they figured out that they could crowd in a lot of news stories within a newscast, spend just 30 or 40 seconds on a soundbite, and not go in depth on issues. They could get more stories in, story count would go up, they could sell just as many ads and more on commercial broadcast. Newspapers, look at when we all saw USA Today come out and everyone called it the McPaper because it was compressed news today. It's lasted and is doing well, and their ad revenues, I'm sure, are quite substantial. It's the way that we're all thinking more. I talked about the speed at which news reporting is done these days. I talked about studies show our attention span, regardless of what one study might say about multitasking. It's really not useful to someone. You have to concentrate on what you're reading and what you're doing for a period of time. I know, and I'm certainly not foolish enough to think that we're going to go back to the good old days. I'm not there. I love social media. I use it. I read a lot of blogs and websites. I keep up with the Lexington Herald Leader or the Louisville Courier-Journal, the New York Times on their websites, maybe more than I do their paper copy.
In our social media-dominated world, we're consistently overloaded with information. This trend of having news that is up to the minute, the moment it happens, sometimes does not leave room for in-depth reporting.
Well, it's going to be tough. It's a real challenge. It's a challenge for all journalists. It's a challenge for journalists and reporters who are working in local television as well as local newspapers or even a blog site. If a candidate won't stand and ask a question and spend some time explaining what the issue is, that's a real challenge to us. We're going to have to figure out a new way to do that. You know, about 20 years ago, it was part of the election process in Kentucky that all candidates had to stand for debate on KET. Well, they took that part out of the law, and that's been gone a long time. So all we can do is invite them, and hopefully they will come to KET and explain. I think the primary is different from the general. I hope, and I'm going to knock on wood, that the candidates after the primary, after we have fewer candidates standing, that they will see that statewide television on KET is important to them, and that they'll come to a series of candidate forums where we can ask them questions and give them time to explain what their positions are.